this to me makes them a legitimate championship team. My first thought, outside of the excitement and wanting to stick it to Evan and just celebrate the Knicks have built a championship team, first thought then became, okay, well now what's the deal with OG Anunoby? Is this a replacement for Anunoby or is this in addition to Anunoby? And we have learned that the Knicks are still prioritizing, or not even still, but they are now firmly focusing on prioritizing on bringing Anunoby back, which to me is the perfect move. They have to have both these guys to make it a championship team.
I agree with that. The first thing that I thought about was not Evan. It was not about OG. It was about Randle. I think Randle's a goner.
Yeah, I saw you tweet that.
Randle's going to be a goner.
Now, based on what?
Well, I just don't think that the way they're set up now, Randle's best ability is to be a high-usage player because he's not incredibly efficient with certain things. So the less he has the ball and the more that his usage rate drops, which it will with another, at least with the Nets, 19-point-per-game scorer, 38% three-point shooter, 85% free throw shooter, a good player, very good in Bridges. I think that he's just more expendable. I just do. I've always thought that. I like Julius, but I know. I think he's gone.
I disagree. I think this makes it even better because now, for me, I'd have Brunson, obviously the number one scoring option. Bridges, the number two scoring option. Remember I was criticizing Anunoby in the postseason saying, yeah, but he can't create his own shot, although he tried to get a little bit better at it.
He did. Those mid-range floaters he was starting to put home. Yeah.
So Bridges does exactly that. You could play him at the 2, and you could move everybody else down if you need.
And then have Dante coming off the bench?
Well, yeah. I mean, you want to have a Hart in that starting lineup? You're saying then?
Depends what they do at center. They still have to do a few things here.
Well, how about this? You could have, and we'll get to the Hartenstein center aspect of it in a second, but you could also have Randle be the big that could stretch the floor. My initial point was that Brunson would be the top scorer, Bridges number 2, and then Randle now, instead of being the second best scoring option, he's number 3. You have Anunoby, 3-and-D guy on the perimeter. He could be your fourth option. You got DiVincenzo back in a lesser role, Hart in a lesser role, Deuce McBride emerging. They're so now deep and many options. I like it, though, with Randle potentially being a big. And even if he has to play the 4, he could still stretch the floor as a big and knock down the outside shot. Now, for me, this is the end of Hartenstein, right? I mean, can we all agree?
He's probably going to be a casualty unless you trade Randle. Which is another reason why I think they should.
I'm not doing that. God, trading Randle?
I see the way you and I just fundamentally disagree on Randle.
How would you build a team then without Randle? Let's say you trade Randle. What are we looking at?
Okay, trading Randle allows me, depending upon what you do, and you're not going to do anything dumb, you're doing something to create some wiggle room monetarily. So hopefully you do that, and then it creates the ability to sign Hartenstein for more than you can, which is only $17 million, and there's going to be offers that exceed that. So right now, Hartenstein's a goner. Unless Randle's out. That opens up.
But would you even want to give Hartenstein
Hartenstein,
I think we're overrating him here.
No, I think you're underrating him. He is a modern big who can handle a little bit, who is a great passer, who is big enough and tough enough to get rebound. I don't know how you don't love Hartenstein. I know you respect him. I know you like him. I don't know how you don't value him more than you do.
Nah, I just don't.
Hartenstein's a beast.
Here's why. Mitch is a better defender, and he's a better rebounder, and Hartenstein doesn't have an offensive game either.
I'm going to ask you this again, though, Sal.
A little bit better than Mitch, but still.
You always get those floaters that never miss, better free throw shooter. And when you say offensive game, I also look at the ability to create. Now, you think offensive game, like dump it down to a player.
The guy who can actually shoot the basketball. He can't do that.
He can shoot it better than Mitch.
Knicks have 2 centers that can't shoot.
By the way, Hartenstein, when he was with the Clippers, took some threes a couple of years.
We went over that.
All right. I'm going to simplify it this way. And I get it if you're not on the Hartenstein wagon as much as I am, but if you're so pro Robinson over Hartenstein in terms of retention, ask yourself this. 2 minutes to go, 2 3-point game, Knicks playing whomever, Heat, Sixers, Celtics, whatever, Eastern Conference, whatever. Do you want Mitchell Robinson or Hartenstein on the court? With the other 4 pieces that can move without the ball and shoot and space, the answer's Hartenstein. It's not even close.
Well, why does either of them have to be on there? Now, with Bridges, you can go smaller and have Randle.
Yeah.
Right? You have Randle.
At the 5?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
OG.
Okay.
Bridges.
Yeah.
Hart or DiVincenzo and Brunson.
Okay, now who's going to think about this? These moves are made to stop the Celtics, okay?
Right.
So if you're playing the Celtics, who's going to guard Kristaps Porzingis? It's not going to be Randle because he's going to flick it right over his head.
Oh, are you going to put OG on him?
Preferably not.
But
if you're playing the Sixers, who's sticking Embiid?
What, you think Hartenstein's going to guard him on the perimeter?
But at least he's going to get in his way.
KP go right around him or shoot over him still. He's a unicorn.
KP would shoot over Randle like I would shoot over my son in the backyard. Flick, flick.
I'll put Mitch on him then. I'd rather Mitch the better defender.
Well, we saw what happens to Mitch on the perimeter. How about a 4-point play?
I'd still
love
trust him.
He's not the answer, man.
I don't love him. I think he is a better defensive player.
But he's not a better player.
And rebounder than Hartenstein.
Okay, he is a better defender. I'm going to give you that. But
I would like a big that could stretch the floor to complement a defensive center. If you think you're worried about Hartenstein and being a good passer,
he's a great passer.
I know, but
he's one of the best passing
with everybody
big men.
healthy, they're not going to need him to be an offensive guy at all. It's going to be in Brunson's hand, Bridges' hand, OG, Randle. Hart could be that facilitator.
That's an overly simplistic way of looking how they deploy their offense.
You better get used to it, dude. Hartenstein's not coming back.
He might not be, but that doesn't mean that it's the right move.
All right, so let's say
I'm not debating whether or not he's coming back. We're having a conversation about whether or not he should be back.
I still think it's the right move.
Oh, no way.
I'm not overpaying for him.
All right, so let me go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, what does he? Oh, okay, he's a facilitator, a big that can facilitate and pass. Fine, you're going to overpay for that?
He also never misses these 6-7 foot floaters. Mitch never does that.
Dude, right, if Hartenstein has taken any shots with Bridges here now, and assuming OG comes back, if Randle's healthy, OG comes back, Bridges and Brunson are on the floor. I don't want Hartenstein touching the ball. I want him to put a body on a big on the opponent, and that's it. I don't want him touching the basketball.
I got it. One thing that there's other things, but a few things that need to be said about this trade. Okay, so right now, the Knicks put all those chips that they have, even though they have 2 picks tonight in the first round, which is awesome, and 38 in round 2. So maybe they make a trade, whatever. Maybe something else happens tonight. They don't stop now, Leon. Right. We're liking what you're doing. The Knicks, though, have zero ability to pivot. So if and when, and it's going to happen eventually, hopefully they get the championship, which justifies this, when they fizzle out, guys get older, these contracts that are good become bad, and we're on the precipice of that happening, trust me, the Knicks will have no draft equity. So you better win in the next 2 or 3 years because it will get dark fast based on the move. And I'm okay with that. Just understand what's going down.
Why is that the case? I thought I read somewhere the Knicks still have 5 picks over the next several years.
They gave up basically. They got the couple tonight. They gave up they gave up the 5 last night, and I'm fine with that.
Right.
But think about this. So OG Anunoby, who is he's going to be back, is going to get $40 million a year.
So you're saying that could turn into a bad contract?
Well, not a bad contract, but it's something that you got to work around. Jalen Brunson's going to sign an extension. Now, thankfully, he's such a team-friendly guy that he's going to give them a deal, and instead of holding hostage for 216 Supermax, whatever it is, he's gonna leave about 30 cents on the dollar, which is crazy, but certainly admirable. His contract's going to change. Josh Hart's getting paid a lot of money. I like Josh Hart. I do. I don't know if he's worth that money that stretches out for a couple of years. And DiVincenzo's value at $11 million, McBride's big-time value, they're not bad contracts, but they're not nearly as good as they are or were this season. Right. So understand, and again, I'm okay with it. That's about to change.
Yeah, well,
financially.
It's not going to. Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter because they're building a team that's going to be a championship contender.
But all I'm saying is you better win.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the idea. You build a team, but they've been waiting. It's not like they gave out bad contracts before they could build a championship team.
I agree.
And they're not even bad contracts. They got Brunson on a value, and even when he re-signs or whatever it may be, extends, it's going to be a good value.
No, he's one of the 10 best players in the game. I'm not talking about him.
Even Randle's contract is valuable. All these guys, they're not going to overpay for Hartenstein. The only bad one potentially would be Anunoby. They're going to probably have to overpay for him.
They're definitely. And they're going to have to overpay for Hartenstein if they trade Randle, create some wiggle room. Can I say one thing about the Nets? Because I know we're so Knicks-centric here. The Nets. Oh. So Knicks-centric here. I got to give the Nets some credit here. I'm not going to get into, this and swap this pick and that pick. Just go to read the paper. You find out what they got in terms of the years and all that stuff. I'm going to give the Knicks credit in this regard. First time the Knicks and the Nets have made a trade since 83, which is amazing. 83, wow. But I am very impressed that they did. I also think it's a very good trade for the Nets. I know Evan might be yelling like a crazy person. I think it's a good move, forward-thinking move for the Nets as well. I do. It stabilizes their foundation, which was going to go nowhere. So they did the right thing. But what the Nets didn't do, and this was huge, and a lot of teams do this, they allow PR to get in the way. Oh, man, this is a really good trade, but I can't do it because in the court of public opinion, my fan base is going to knock me because I just gave our best player to the Knicks. Who cares? If it makes you better and you've got the conviction that this is a move that will fortify you moving forward, make the move. Nobody's saying that about the Nets because we care about the Knicks. I understand that. 95% of us are Knicks fans in the 5 boroughs in the outreaching areas here. I get that. But what the Nets did, now, the GM still stinks. I mean, Marks is awful. But that was a very smart move because the Nets are going to get crushed for giving their best player to the Knicks, and they ignored that, and I respect that.
Right, they felt they took the best deal that they could make under the circumstances, so you give them credit for that. They're still an embarrassing organization, and it turns out that, look, how it's come full circle, where they thought they were the lucky ones to get KD and Kyrie. That obviously blew up in their faces, turned into Bridges, and now Bridges turns out to be the final piece for the Knicks championship run, and they get him from the Nets.
Isn't that sweet? I remember last year we said a couple of things, because Evan was saying, no, it'll never happen. Nets will never do it. And I'm not calling out Evan, but most people connected to these teams never thought the Nets would trade him to the Knicks. Dude, he's a Knick.
So
he got Bridges on the Knicks.
It's unbelievable.
Sick.
Real quick, before we get back to the calls here, we're taking Knicks calls and, of course, Subway Series. So I just wanted you to confirm. Now, I'm looking this up. It seems to me the Knicks still have plenty of first-round picks. What are we looking at here?
They don't have plenty.
20, they have tonight, obviously.
They got number 24, number 25 tonight, and number 38 in round 2.
Okay, what about next year?
So next year, they still have 2 picks in the first round, but they are protected. They got Detroit's first-round pick that's protected.
And their own?
Yep.
Okay.
No, not their own.
No, they gave those up.
Oh, okay. So
they have Washington's also, which is a protected pick 1 through 10, and Detroit's lottery protected. 2026, they have their own.
Okay.
27, they have none.
Okay.
28, they have their own.
Okay.
29, none, and 30, they have their own.
Okay. So, I mean, you think that's a big deal?
I think it's going to a big. Is it a big deal today? No. Leon Rose just crushed it, man.
They still have, but it's not like they're barren. I mean, the cupboard is not bare.
I'm just saying.
They've got plenty of first-round picks still over the next several years.
I don't think they have much ability to pivot. I really don't.
Pivot from what? This is it. You go.
No. I mean, down the just out. Time moves fast, and if they don't win in the next 2 or 3 years, there's going to be a point where tanking comes. It's best. It happens.
5 years here. I think they've gotten 5 years.
5
with this group.
Let me see. Well, I mean, if you're talking about 5 years,
you don't think Brunson's going to be in his prime? For the next...
I'm not. Brunson's a given. He is a superstar. I'm not worried about him at all. Well, he's only signed for 2 more years.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to have to. You would assume.
Yeah, and they're going to have to re-sign OG. And McBride's got 3 years, I think he signed, right? 3 years.
The other pieces may change over, from, let's say, 3 years to 5 years.
Well, they always do.
But the key pieces will be here. They still have draft picks to build on top of that. Well, and then when some guys go, whether it's Randle moving on, whether it's Mitchell's contract.
So the Knicks are going to give Randle an extension? Here's the other thing that you got to understand. Randle's contract.
2 more years?
Let me see. He signed a 4-year deal. I think, is Randle up there? No, he's got 2 more. I think he's got 2.
Right. So?
No. Is he up this year? I think he's got an option. I'm pretty sure he's got an option.
So just check that.
He's under contract this year. I'm almost positive he's got an option.
Player option next year.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So he's
checking out, which means he's got a year to go.
Okay.
So are the Knicks going to extend him? The answer is unequivocally no. They won't. They shouldn't. Not happening. 0 chance. That's why you trade him.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm looking to take a run at the championship. All right, BT and Sal on the fan. Let's get back to the phones. Carrie is calling from Sayreville. What's up, Carrie?
What's up, guys? Happy birthday, BT.
Carrie, what's happening, kiddo?
From the Knicks.
Thank you. Yeah, a little Knick gift, huh? Maybe we'll go to that Game 7 after all.
Let's go. I'm ready. Listen, I think it's a great move. But what I think they should let OG walk. I think they need to re-sign Hartenstein.
Oh, God.
And I think they need to get Kelly Oubre for the cheap.
Ooh, I like Oubre. He's a pain in the behind. Here's the thing, Carrie. To let OG walk after what they gave up, man.
No, you can't do that.
That's bad business. No, you can't let him walk.
The whole idea is pairing 2
3-and-D guys.
Yeah, 2 top perimeter defenders.
2 wings.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Like that's going to separate the Knicks. That's the only chance to be able to slow down or beat the Boston Celtics.
Bingo.
That's how you do it. The Knicks, and not to mention that Bridges is a chemistry guy with the Nova kids and all those things.
85% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Plays every night, 82 games.
But it only makes it the perfect piece if it's in addition to OG Anunoby, where now you have this, I don't even want to say, it's not a super team, obviously, but a loaded freaking team.
Mm-hmm.
If you take Anunoby away and add Bridges, I still think Bridges is better because of the scoring that he brings.
Better than Anunoby?
Yes.
Is he a better fit, though? Well, he probably will be.
I do think so.
Yeah.
I'd rather that. But the idea is you want both.
Of course. There's no... OG staying.
Yeah.
OG staying. It's the Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson, Randle stuff they've got to resolve. That's it.
Brian is in California. What's up, Brian?
Hey, guys. I think I'm with Sal on this one. I mean, I love Hartenstein. I think the fans do. He embodied that blue-collar work ethic in his play that New Yorkers love. But to trade Randle, just to keep him an all-NBA power forward, to keep him, you don't do that. You don't do that. You run it back with Randle,
No, you
OG,
don't.
and Brunson. With that, they were like 25 and 5, crazy. And like, I love Hartenstein, but I'll keep Mitch. He's already on the books, contract friendly, extremely. What his job is or what he does. He does it great.
You know,
Great.
listen, Brian, hold on, Brian, one second, Brian, hold on.
We don't need him to score.
I know, he does it so well. So starting, I don't know, maybe I'll get it in my next contract here, see if my bosses are okay if I only do 2 shows a week, and I'm going to skip out on the other 3, because that's what he does every year when he gets hurt. Mitchell Robinson. You can't count on him.
Yeah.
Every year he goes down.
Yeah, he's still
Oh, nonsense.
he's still a better
with the
defender and
Robinson
better
stuff.
rebounder. And by the way, they're going to need either way, one of those. You want to say you want to trade Robinson? Fine. I'm not trading Julius Randle, which is what you said before.
Yeah, I would trade both.
And we've had this conversation a month ago, whatever, where I would choose Robinson, you would choose Hartenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, like if they did decide to trade Robinson and overpay for Hartenstein, that's what it would be. I would not do that. But even if they did do that, okay, fine. They're going to need a backup center one way or another. And I'd be okay if they said, you know what, we made the decision, we're going to overpay for Hartenstein and let Mitch go. Fine. I would not make that my preference, but I'd be okay if they did that. Either way, they're going to need a different backup.
How about Achua at the 5? For 8, 9, 10 minutes a night? He's good.
No.
So let me just make another point about Randle. So there are certain players. You know what? I'm going to save this. I think this is a primary thing about Randle. I want to get to this coming up next. Obviously, get back to the Yankee calls.
Yeah.
Mike Piazza, by the way,
12:40.
will join us next hour as well. I want to save the Randle point. We'll get back to the phones as well.
Okay, BT and Sal on the fan. We'll take your Subway Series calls, Knicks trade, whatever it is.